Romeo 4, India Delta Whiskey.
India Delta Whiskey, Roger. What's the name?
India Delta Whiskey, Roger. What's the name? The name's Steve. You've helped me set the audio up on this in the past, a couple weeks ago, Jim, and I've just put up a different antenna, and I wanted to see if the audio was...
Okay, so you're over in Kentucky, Roger?
Roger, Fairdale area, Coral Ridge area, and so far I've been getting good reports on the antenna today, but I don't know if the audio's changed any at all because of it. I would hope that it hasn't, but we're hoping that.
Roger, Roger. Well, I just went to my local antenna on the 7300, and I hear just wall-to-wall. The audio frequency response sounds beautiful. Your dynamic range is approximating 3 dB, so it means that your average percent of peak modulation is around 80 to 85%, so that's really nice. And that 3 dB dynamic range gives those words life. You know, as opposed to being 150% modulation, and those words are 0 decibel as far as dynamic range. Everything's up against the wall. It's just really difficult to understand words that are smashed that hard. So we do a 3 dB dynamic range, which gives some life to those words, even though they're fat at 80 to 85%. Roger.
Roger. Well, I appreciate it, and I hope you're ready for Snowmageddon coming this weekend. But I appreciate the good report, and I'm glad the antenna's working out for me, and it seems to not affect my audio any whatsoever, and I'm happy I'm doing all right here.
Roger. Now, I would suggest, is that the hand mic that is furnished with the radio there?
Yes, sir, the one designed by Bob Howe, the hand mic, and it seems to get good reports on it. Also, I would change if it didn't, but it seems to get awful good reports.
Roger, just stay to the side of it. Just don't work directly into it. Just keep working it exactly like you are. And if you, down the road, see the opportunity to get a foam windscreen, I would go ahead and get one, and then cut me out about a 2-inch square and find out exactly where the hole is for the microphone. And I would place that square somehow right over that hole, so you're running a foam windscreen even on a hand mic. Roger?
Roger, I'll have to try that and get back with you and see how it sounds, see if you can discern a difference.
Roger. Well, it's that is probably one of the most difficult positions to put a foam windscreen. The others, you just slip over the end and everything's cool, and it takes about a second. But on a hand mic, you have to kind of scratch your head a little bit, because if you try to put it just over the hand mic, 2 to 1, the foam will be so hard that it will actually key your PTT on your hand mic. So, and you don't want that. So I have found that the best way is to cut out about a 2-inch square, find out exactly where that microphone is, and kind of put that patch right there, and maybe off to the side, on either side, maybe some kind of a way to hold it there, some kind of tape or something. And you have to really scratch your noggin about how you're going to do that. Roger.
Roger, yeah. Well, I have to put that to the test, and I'll definitely get back with you next week or sometime soon thereafter.
Roger. And the best thing is just to cut the head off that foam windscreen, because the head part of the foam windscreen is about twice as deep as those side pieces. So you want the best part of that foam windscreen, and like I say, it's right at the tip. Don't cut it short, because But I would just use that part, about a 2-inch piece. Roger.
Roger. Well, I appreciate the advice, and I'm definitely going to try that, Jim.
Roger. Now, this antenna that you just put up, what is it different than the one that you were using?
Well, I was using a inverted V. Hang on just a second. An inverted V, center fed, of course, with a 1-to-1 balun up about 45 feet high. And now I've got a full wave antenna up, and I'm feeding it straight to the wire with no balun in there, and it seems to be working fine. It has a real good match, and it's resonant here. I fed it just off of a corner of it.
Roger, yes, that's the way I'm feeding my dipole, no transformer, just straight out, unbalanced, and I have a procedure for aligning those for SWR. Since it's unbalanced, I use the ground side to always reduce the SWR, and I use the high side to bring it back onto frequency that I'm looking for. So I'm going back and forth there 2 or 3 times, and I keep whacking SWR off on the negative side and bringing it back onto frequency on the positive side. Roger.
Hey, seems like I've followed your lead.
Yes, sir, and there's another way to do that, too, and that is at the end of your elements, your wire runs, I drop down about a foot to 8 inches. I use a thing called a split bolt. Now, if you don't know what a split bolt is, you run your antenna through the insulator back around, and then the split bolt opens up, and you run both pieces in there, and then crimp this split bolt nut tight, and you've got a beautiful connection. And then you have a piece of wire hanging down about 8 inches. And what you can do is just, depending on which way you need to go, it usually is longer than what is prescribed. So I'm in a shortening mode there, and I'm just twisting up that piece of wire on itself. I'd never cut anything on your antenna, because then you're going to have to probably come back and splice something in there. So if you don't cut it and you just wrap it back on itself, back up towards the main antenna, you're trimming, and you can take a look at your SWR and figure out how much you need to trim to bring that down. Roger.
Roger, Jim. Yeah, what I've done is I've wrapped up the wire in the insulator, and I've fed it back around the wire itself. But yeah, I've left about 1.5 feet or so on each side.
Roger, and that'll help you move along fairly quickly when you're tuning your antenna. And gosh, did you have much trouble? Now, you were talking about the other antenna was a sloper. Is that a Roger?
It was an inverted V. Yeah, it was, I had both sides on about a 45-degree angle, and I had it up about 45 feet high in the center.
Roger. Now, you're very lucky there, because you got to take into consideration that these two halves, in order for them to reach low SWR standings, they have to kind of reciprocate one another as far as tuning. Now, in my situation, I had one that was a sloper, and the other half was a horizontal at about 30 feet. And I worked for 3 years trying to find some kind of a happy medium to get that SWR down. And through no fault of my own, I say that, but I lost my position up in the tree, up in the top of the tree. I was using tie wraps, and for expediency, and one of the tie wraps opened up, and the whole conglomeration defaulted, and so I lost my real top area in the tree. So in the meantime, I said, well, I'll just run it to the first limb and call it even for today, because I was a little it wasn't a good day when I lost my position up in the tree. But so I did this, and I ran to the first limb, and I went and checked my SWR, and all of a sudden my SWR was just perfect. It was down there. I couldn't even see it move. And what it turned out to be was that there was a geographic difference between the one half of the dipole and the other half, to the point that you could never find enough similarity to be able to adjust for SWR. So what that means is that you really have to be careful that you treat both sides of your dipole equally, and that they both tend to exhibit the same situation and environment. Roger?
Yeah, I have to take that into consideration on my 80-meter antenna, because it's an inverted V, and I've got it on equally vertical planes, about a 45-degree angle on both sides. But what I did was I trimmed it till I got the SWR correct, and I lowered and raised the actual impedance by lifting and lowering the center of the V. But I've got it up about 65 feet in the air for 75, 80-meter antenna.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, just keep in mind that you need, you probably need to treat both halves of that dipole in a similar fashion. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to find low SWR ratings. That's what I've found out, and I think anyway. Roger.
Roger. Yeah. Well, I've cut them. I've been exact. I've been pretty tediously exact on making them equal.
Roger, Steve. Well, listen, give me your location again.
I'm right here at the south end of Fairdale, near Coral Ridge, near the old brickyards, if you're familiar with that.
Roger. And what radio is that?
7300, and it's got the regular mic and a wattage behind it.
Yes, sir. Well, it really sounds good. I think you've got everything going there, and I think you will like your recording. You go to YouTube, do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 73, 6, I don't know, somewhere in there, 1,000 Qso-Vlogs, and about 3,000 of those are transmitter setups over the last 10 years. Roger?
Roger, yeah. No, I've really enjoyed what you've done here, especially since I've got my general class license. Even before then, I listened some. But we all appreciate what you do for us here.
Roger, sir. Okay, well, 73, thanks for dropping by, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you.
All righty, have a good one, Jim.
Roger, Steve, 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.